Greetings and welcome back to CS133 Practical Programming with Python. This is week 2. We're on lesson operators. For this lesson, we're going to talk about more complex logic. We did comparison, we talked about Boolean, but now we're going to how do you compare multiple values. So success criteria is to demonstrate using Boolean operators in a Boolean expression. So we'll talk about what that is in a little bit, but you're going to be able to do essentially what you see right here. If is happy and x is greater than 1. So this is an and then you can have if is crazy or x is less than 1. And again, essentially what this is if expression and or evaluation, right? Evaluation true or false and evaluation true or false or true or false, right? So we're going to go and look at what and means and then what or means. So and means both of them need to be true. So if you have two statements, is happy needs to be true and x needs to be greater than 1. They both need to be true in order for the code to execute. I like to think this and this needs to be true. This and this both need to be true. If you have true and false, one of them is not true. So the whole thing is false, it doesn't execute. False and true, same concept. One is false, this and this are not true, so therefore it's false, it does not execute the code, and then of course false and false, it does not execute. Now there's an or statement, true or true, and that's if either one of them, just takes one of them, and then you can do this, right? So, and then it executes the code. So true or true, of course, true or false, again, one is true. It's this or, either or. That's all I like to remember. Either or is true. Either or. If either of them are true, it's true. So true or false is true. False or true is true. And then false or false is false because neither of them are true. All right, so this is good things to think about. And we'll show some examples where and makes sense and where or makes sense. I mean, you can think about just your daily life. I'm gonna if I have this or this, I'll be happy. Breakfast. If I have cereal or I have oatmeal, I'm going to be full, right? Either one. It doesn't matter which one I have. If I have one of them, I'm full. Whereas, you know, I need food and water to live, right? I need food and water to live. So again, you can just see even your regular life how the or and the and can work. So let's look at the code a little bit. If true and true, it prints true, right? It prints true. And like a space holder, if true or false, at least one of them is true. So if we change this, right, because both of these need to be true, both of them need to be true, which is true now. Let's change this to false. And I could do 5 is greater than 6, right? Because it's just evaluation. That is essentially false, right? So I run this, it's no longer true. And in this case, I can swap them. This false. Now, if I make this false and run it, right, one of them has to be true. At least one of them has to be true for that to print, that code to execute. And now we can do different evaluations, kind of like I already mentioned. So I already mentioned how you can have evaluations. It's not always normally like is pressed, blah, blah, blah. Normally you're doing some kind of evaluation. Is it less than this? Do I have enough cereal? Or whatnot, right? So in this case, x is set to 1, y is set to 2. Remember I said the equal sign. This is set. This is how you compare. This is how you compare. So is x equal to 1? Well, yep, because I just set it to it. And is y equal to 2? Well, I just set y to 2, so you can see they both are true. Now, if I change this to 2 and run it, I set x to 2. 2 is not equal to 2. And I have an and here, so this is false and true, and it's not printing. Now let's change this to an or, right? So this is false, this is true. I run it, and this doesn't make any sense. let's do 1 is true. All right, 1 is true, so it executes this code here. And then finally, if I change this to that, both of them are false, right? X is set to 2, 2 is not equal to 1, but we still have one more chance because this is an OR. 9 is not equal to 2, so that's false, so therefore nothing executes. All right, one more thing to learn is the not operator, right? So this is one more Boolean evaluation, right? Not. So X is equal to 1. X is set to 1. So X, the value of X is 1. 1 does not equal 100, right? So X does not. This is a true statement, right? This is false. 1 does not equal this. So because it's not, the easiest way to really think of this is whatever this is, not just says do the opposite. That's the easiest way to think about this. So X is not equal to 100. All right. So that's false. So not false is true, which is why this code works. So if I type in 100, 100 is equal to 100, so that is true. So not true equals false, so therefore it does not run. All right. That is pretty much operators and logic and everything that's basic about it. Our next lesson is going to be about putting it all together and doing what happens if it's not true, right? If it's not true, right, this code doesn't execute, but what if we want something else to execute, right? So that will be the next part, is kind of expanding on that. We now have all the capabilities we need to do our comparisons to figure out if it's true or not. But what about if we want it to evaluate other things as well? So we'll see you next lesson.